Today, the threat of nuclear war is greater than it has been in decades. Our leaders have turned their backs on promises and diplomacy, spending billions on more deadly and unnecessary weapons. This risk threatens our health, environment, and all of humanity, and it demands that we sound the alarm and take action. Back from the Brink is building this movement, bringing communities together and fighting to make our world free from the threat of nuclear war. We've testified in town halls, passed resolutions, and met with leaders, winning support at the grassroots level as we rally to prevent this threat from being a dangerous reality. We are students, we are veterans, we are scientists, health professionals, people of faith, and activists. To make change, we need everyone. Learn more about our policy solutions and what we're doing to prevent nuclear war at our website, and find your role.
Hi, I'm Bill Henry. I'm proud to join you today as we commemorate the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and say together, never again. 2 years ago, I introduced a resolution in the Baltimore City Council urging the United States to move back from the brink and toward nuclear disarmament. It was adopted unanimously. In that year alone, Baltimore had paid well over $100 million in taxes funding nuclear weapons. Spending money on nuclear weapons does not make us safer, or healthier, or well by any measure. Nor can we address the rampant violence in our society by funding the most violent weapon known to humankind. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. assured us that a nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on social uplift is approaching spiritual doom. Over the past 12 years that I've served on the Baltimore City Council, I've often recalled the words of Dr. King, Frederick Douglass, and many others in calling for a shift in our priorities. And today, on this solemn anniversary, I ask again that we change our course as a nation. We must strive for a future in which efforts towards building a stronger society are not diminished by efforts to mutually assure our own destruction. I believe that we can and will create that future. 2 years ago, Baltimore was the first major city in the United States to adopt a Back from the Brink resolution. Since then, 43 other cities have followed suit and adopted similar resolutions, including Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Salt Lake City, Tucson, and Honolulu. These city leaders know that they are responsible for ensuring the safety of their people, and that the best way to protect their people from the growing threat of nuclear war is to prevent it from happening in the first place. Together, we're sending a message to our leaders in Congress that the U.S. must fundamentally change its nuclear weapons policy and set ourselves upon the path to nuclear abolition. I am also hopeful when I see tens of thousands of Americans taking to the street to say that Black Lives Matter, to protest police brutality, and to call for a reimagining of public safety which shifts resources away from a militarized police force and toward community needs. This reimagining must also happen at the federal level. We owe it to the memory of those who perished 75 years ago in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We owe it to the memory of those who have suffered and died due to poverty and institutionalized racism. And we owe it to our children and the generations to come. So let's do this. Let's pull back from the brink of nuclear war and move forward in justice and peace. Thank you.
Hello, I'm honored to be with you here on the 75th anniversary of the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. By the time I was 8 years old, my family had taught me that what the United States had done to Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a crime against humanity. So in 2017, when I learned about the Back from the Brink call for the United States to lead an effort to abolish nuclear weapons worldwide, I felt as though I'd been waiting all my life to participate in this movement. Back from the Brink advocates for 5 common sense policy solutions that the United States should adopt to reduce and eliminate the real and growing threat of nuclear war. The 5 policies are: 1, renounce the option of using nuclear weapons first. 2, end the sole, unchecked authority of any U.S. president to launch a nuclear war. 3, take U.S. nuclear weapons off of hair trigger alert. 4, cancel the plans to replace its entire nuclear arsenal with enhanced weapons. 5, to actively pursue a verifiable agreement among the nuclear-armed states to eliminate their arsenals. Back from the Brink's organizing strategy is to enable local advocates to seek endorsements from organizations, municipalities, and states in their region, and then to use these endorsements to demonstrate to Congress members that their constituents want them to take action on reforming nuclear weapons policy. Especially now, as the nation reels from COVID-19 and a racial justice reckoning, we must join with others who are demanding a change in our national priorities. And this is how we pass back from the Brink resolutions in New Hampshire. First, we studied the excellent materials on the website www.preventnuclearwar.org. Then I asked 2 peace organizations, whose boards I serve on, to endorse the resolution. Both New Hampshire PeaceAction and Seacoast Peace Response endorsed the resolutions and committed to working on the resolution and passing them in towns and cities across our state. Then we educated the public with fact sheets and a film series at local libraries. We sent letters to editors, and we ran an ad in a local newspaper for 2 months. Then we found a council person to introduce the resolution, and we lobbied council members. We spoke at public hearings. You can watch a webinar that describes how the resolution was passed across the United States at preventnuclearwar.org. During New Hampshire's first in the nation presidential primary, we asked each candidate about the 5 points of the back from the Brink resolution. Several candidates said that they would never start a nuclear war, but none of the candidates endorsed wholeheartedly all 5 of the points. And shockingly, none of the candidates addressed nuclear policies in their prepared speeches. This oversight underscores how important it is for ordinary citizens to bring up a topic that is so important, but is viewed as something that no one wants to talk about. We are still working in New Hampshire to bring more communities to pass this resolution. The call is compelling. The work has been amazingly pleasant and productive. We did it in our hometown, and you can do this too in your city or town, and I hope that you will. Together, we just might save the world and atone for the nation's tragic and inhumane atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki 75 years ago. Let us truly be able to say, never again.
We want every American on the same page. We want them to pledge their support for the Back from the Brink resolution, just as we did with the Los Angeles City Council on the 74th anniversary of the atomic bomb over Nagasaki, Japan. The resolution presents the opportunity for intergenerational and cross-cultural dialogue, a fundamental step for a world without nuclear weapons. In 2019, we were pleased to join a morning meeting with the United States House Representative Adam B. Schiff, who represents California's 28th Congressional District. I had the pleasure of speaking with Congressman Schiff to persuade him into co-sponsoring the No First Use Bill, a pivotal small step to the grander vision of total nuclear disarmament. I specifically had the opportunity to share my experience in the field as both a young individual and as an immigrant to this country. Taking into account Congressman Schiff's track record of supporting disarmament-related policies, we were confident going in. When he pledged his support by saying, "I'll tell my assistants to put me as a co-sponsor of the bill," it boosted our morale and optimism for change. Prior to this meeting, the majority of my nuclear experiences had been abroad, so I never had the opportunity for dialogue with an official American representative on my home turf up until that moment. For us at Nuclear Free Schools, it was our first time lobbying and the first time a congressman had agreed to our pitch. Such a profound and productive reunion would not have been possible without collaborating with other equally passionate and dedicated individuals. And I, as Director of Outreach at Nuclear Free Schools, am proud to have pitched in my support for this kind of campaign. Because for us, it's more than passing laws, it's about bringing justice.
Hi, I'm Rosalie Regal from Evanston. I read about the ICANN revolution back from the Brink in the Pax Christi newsletter, and I thought, I can do that. Or rather, we can do that. Well, we did it, a lot of people. First, I asked my St. Nicholas Parish Peace and Justice Committee, and they said, fine. They were very cooperative. Then a really savvy friend directed me to the right council person to introduce the resolution. We then got people to personally call their constituents and to try to get them on board. Mostly we worked with faith congregations and peace groups to get groups together to sponsor the resolution. So I did almost all of it by email because I'm hard of hearing and it was time consuming, but I learned a lot about how different churches operate. And we just got tremendous cooperation from Jewish congregations, Black congregations, Lutherans, Universalists, a wonderful interfaith church called Lake Street, and all the Catholic parishes. Chicago area PeaceAction was wonderful help too. They gave a program at the library, like at this, I think in the second month of our campaign, and they showed the movie, The Beginning of the End of Nuclear Weapons, which got everybody all excited and working together. David Combs of Union of Concerned Scientists was really helpful too, and he spoke and led the discussion at that meeting. He also spoke to City Council. We had quite a few snafus by City Hall, like once they forgot to put it on the agenda, etc. And each time the council person was able to pull it out of the water. So things proceeded first from a subcommittee and then to the regular council. At that last council, the full council meeting, we had pastors and lay people speak. And then one of the women from the peace group called Neighbors for Peace sang her citizen comment. And that just brought everybody to their feet in applause. And then the council passed the resolution unanimously. So Evanston's the first Midwest city to do the resolution. I think Des Moines coming on board soon if it hasn't already done it. And the Illinois State Assembly is in line, and we're now working on Chicago, which is a much bigger thing to deal with, particularly now with the pandemic. We couldn't have done it without so many people cooperating, making phone calls, standing up, going out on a limb, convincing their senators. And I think that that's what we all have to do, is work together to get your peace group, your faith community, your friends, your neighbors, your city hall, and your state assemblies to support the Back from the Brink resolution. Thank you.